The Sultan and the Philosopher, new version. In ancient times there lived a righteous and keen Sultan. His prospering realm was huge and contained many villages and cities. To rule his realm demanded the Sultan's fullest attention. But he was also very interested in the arts and sciences. Whenever he found the time to do so, people could see him standing on top of his palace during the dark hours, observing through a huge telescope the interplay of planets and stars. The Sultan was extremely thirsty for knowledge and tried to learn as much as possible about astronomy and other natural and cultural sciences. When observing the stars at night, he asked himself, "Will I ever understand which higher meaning is hidden behind all of existence?" "No," he said during our weekly meetings, "a human lifetime is just not long enough in order to grasp the eternal." But the Sultan's gaze didn't only look into things far away, he was also keenly interested in all the things surrounding us on our planet, the animal and the plant kingdom, the origin and the decay of all life. And there again the Sultan asked himself what possibly could be the meaning behind all of it, and which role humans might have to play in this game. One day the Sultan ordered myself and other advisors into his room. He asked us if one of us could tell him anything at all about the meaning of life. No one had a conclusive answer. At long last, the Sultan looked inquiringly onto me, because I was closer to him than the other advisors. After a short moment of reflection, I answered, "My liege, I don't believe that anyone can fully grasp the meaning of life, because our existence on this earth is just so short. But one can, as I believe, approach the meaning of life if one meets different creeds, teachings, and cultures, and if one crosses frontiers." He seemed to agree with me, thought about it for a while, and then said, "Well, you, my friend and advisor, you have neither a wife nor children. Go forth into the world in my stead. Take with you whatever you need, and don't spare any cost. But be quick and find out the meaning of life." I was happy about this task, because I realized what a big gift my Sultan gave me along with it. I was tasked to travel through as many countries as possible, to collect impressions, writings, and experiences in order to convey them all to my ruler after my journey. After some days of preparation, a caravan and a lot of gold, in order to buy books and scriptures, was ready, as well as enough soldiers to safely escort us throughout the world. We crossed the whole continent of Africa, down to the very south. We even visited the mysterious island of Madagascar. Then we went back up north, and then through the Arabic and Persian realms, up until the Silk Road led us far away into the east, over to India and China. We even went further than that and ventured further north into the realm of the Mongols. On our way back through the tundra and taiga, we reached Europe, traveled through many lands, and after many, many years and hardships, we finally came back into our homeland. Everywhere we went, I bought books and scrolls and all sorts of peculiar apparatuses. I also composed many treatises and essays about the peoples of this world and their technical and cultural achievements, without neglecting the religions and philosophies of this world. I met many people, from simple farmers up to viziers, sultans, kings and emperors. everywhere we found rich sources of wisdom and tradition. But also everywhere we encountered great poverty, wars, and famine. We had to experience much, way too much suffering, war, and misery. One day, after many years of travel, our caravan was again back in the palace's court. The camels were packed with chests full of books and scriptures. Straight away I asked for an audience with my Sultan, who had already given up all hope that we ever might return. All the more happy he was to see me, and asked full of suspense, "Now, my old friend, did you find the meaning of life?" "My liege," I answered, pointing toward the caravan, "here are the many books and scriptures which I have collected from all over the world. All you have to do is to read them, and hopefully, in that way, you will experience the wisdom that I selected for you." "Oh, but my dear friend, I see hundreds, perhaps even thousands of books and rolls. I don't have the time to read all these. My duties as a ruler do not bestow upon me this kind of luxury. But you, my old friend, you are single. Take the time and study all of these books and writings and summarize them and their wisdom in one single tome. I promise you I will then study that." So it was that after spending years out there roaming the world, my life changed completely and I retired into my rooms. I read and wrote day and night until I had a firm grasp of all the wisdom of the world, with the one goal to summarize it all into one single tome. But this endeavor took years. It took longer than the actual journey. When I was finally done, I went straight to my Sultan, in my hands the one book containing the sum of human wisdom. It contained the quintessence of all my experiences and of all the writings of countless realms and times. But to my biggest sorrow, I found my Sultan in bed, stricken with sickness. It was, in fact, his deathbed. I kneeled beside him on the floor and spoke, "My liege, only now am I done with the book. All the knowledge, all the wisdom that I collected is contained within it." With a feeble voice, the Sultan answered, "My dear friend, I won't have enough time left to read it. My final hour has arrived, and soon I will meet the Almighty. But you have traveled far and wide, and you have seen so much from this world. And then you have done all the work of condensing your learnings and experiences into this one single book. Can you not tell me, in a simple sentence, what it is, the meaning of life?" I was startled by this question, so much so that I said to myself, "One sentence? One sentence only to describe the whole of life? Its experiences, its meanings, its wisdoms? That's impossible." The Sultan hung on my lips, his gaze full of expectation. I closed my eyes for a short while, and all the images from my journey started to surface inside of me. But above all, I saw all the misery, the wars, the greed of humankind, the hunger and poverty. Then, nearly against my will, the following words left my mouth. "They were born, they have suffered, and then they died." For a moment it seemed that a soupçon of realization crossed my master's brow. Then, with a faint smile on his lips, he closed his eyes forever. I looked at him and did not realize that his hand laid in mine all the time. I stayed there for a while, filled with a huge sadness. Eventually, I got up on my feet and went out on the terrace of his tower, and I let my gaze wander over the vastness of the desert. In the distance, I saw a small whirlwind, twisting and turning around itself. And in my memory, the voice of a wise man that I had once met in Persia surfaced. In the desert, a wind got up and carried away and scattered the ashes. A human being has lived. This is an excerpt from the book The Storyteller of Algiers, Stories from the Maghreb and Elsewhere, told and published by erzaehler.aceval in 2018. English audio version by erzaehler, published with authorization and explicit encouragement of the author, illustrations and title image by Bendix Bauer. Currently, the book is only available in German. If you are an editor or interested in publishing an English version of the book, please contact the author's son, erzaehler, under hakim@aceval.net. To order an autographed and dedicated copy of the book, please contact the author directly. You will find his email address under www.aceval.net or via his Facebook page.